Breaking news out of McAllen tonight, where federal agents busted a human stash house.
As thousands of immigrants are turning themselves in, some are choosing to hide in stash homes. CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez joins us live in McAllen with this exclusive story. Sydney.
Well, Chris, this looks exactly like your typical neighborhood. But what U.S. Border Patrol agents found inside of this house right here was nothing normal. Inside, they found 66 undocumented immigrants from 8 different countries waiting to be transported to a different location.
Even daily crossers are noticing a difference. CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez joins us live at the Hidalgo-Reynosa International Bridge with more on how the caravan is affecting people here. Sydney.
Well, Chris, we're here live right next to the Hidalgo-Reynosa International Bridge, and you can see with our CBS 4 eye in the sky, there are dozens of people that are waiting to cross the border. Now, those long lines might be because several Rio Grande Valley customs officers have been sent to the Del Rio area to help with the migrant caravan that is approaching.
Doors are now back open at the Central Processing Center in McAllen after a flu-like outbreak shut it down.
That means no immigrants were allowed in or out during the situation. CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez broke the story for us last night. She joins us live with more on this developing story. Sydney.
Well, that's right. The doors are back open here at the Central Processing Center. I have seen several buses going in and out of the center, picking up and then dropping off undocumented immigrants.
But tonight, for the first time, President Trump traveled to McAllen to address border security.
His trip lasting only 3 hours, but CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez stayed by his side the whole time. She joins us live outside the McAllen International Airport with more on his visit. Sydney.
Well, Chris, right now it's much quieter, but just an hour ago there were thousands of people outside of the airport right where I'm standing waiting to greet President Trump. Now, I was allowed access to travel with the president during his one-day trip here.
Tonight, a new section of the border wall is making its way to our area.
It's expected to go up in just weeks in Starr County. That's where we find CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez from one of those proposed locations. Sydney.
Nicole, right here in this area in Rio Grande City is a proposed location for a border wall in the Starr County area. There has never been a border wall in the Rio Grande City area of responsibility.
A Border Patrol agent has been arrested for attempted murder after allegedly shooting his girlfriend multiple times. CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez has been following this case and joins us now live outside of Edinburgh Police Headquarters after speaking to police. Sydney, what can you tell us?
Well, Edinburgh police have just identified the Border Patrol agent involved in this incident as Ricardo Cepeda Jr. of Edinburgh. Police say Cepeda shot his girlfriend Brenda Hernandez multiple times at their home on Zoe Street in Edinburgh around 3 a.m. Sunday morning.
CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez spoke to the Border Patrol Sector Chief this afternoon and joins us live from outside BP headquarters. Sydney, what is the chief saying?
Well, Chris, Border Patrol agents are saying they have not seen numbers like this since before 2007. One agent I spoke to says they checked their archive records today and did not see a number that high since before it was recorded in 2007. Now, Chief Rodolfo Karish tells me those numbers are expected to continue to rise as they haven't even entered rescue season yet. Even though the government was partially shut down for 35 days, Border Patrol agents were still required to come out on the brush and out on the field to secure the border.
During the 35-day government shutdown, the Rio Grande Valley sector remained one of the busiest sectors of the nation for illegal alien apprehensions and marijuana seizures.
It's a controversial video that allegedly shows a moment after a woman was shot by Border Patrol agents near Laredo. Good evening, I'm Nicole Hickel.
And I'm Chris Jacobs. CBS 4's Sydney Hernandez is at the scene of yesterday's incident that has been speaking to witnesses. Sydney, what have we learned?
Yeah, as you can see, there's still some crime scene tape hanging from the area where that young woman was shot. And check this out. We caught some of these water jugs, some clothes, even some children's shoes. As neighbors say, this is a very highly trafficked road and path for undocumented immigrants. And that woman that you saw taping that video lives right here, just feet away from where the shooting happened. She says that when she heard the gunshot, she went running outside and found the Border Patrol Patrol agent screaming and performing CPR on the young woman who was laying down right here, her head face down, covered in blood. This is a park in Sullivan City. You can see several residents are playing basketball in the back. And in this same park, you can see there are hundreds of undocumented immigrants that were just apprehended by Border Patrol. In this group, there are several pregnant women. This isn't a movie.
It is difficult.
Difficult, but real life.
It's really tough. It's a lot tougher than I thought.
So tough, only the smartest and strongest survive. Those wanting to become a Border Patrol agent wait months, some of them even years, after going through multiple tests and background checks before finally being accepted into the academy.
This agency is one of the best in the nation.
Trainees are sent to Artesia, New Mexico, where they spend the next 6 months of their lives training vigorously.
They go through firearms, driving, Spanish, law.
So what is the object?
PT.
8, 9, 10, 100 feet, 100 feet, move!
A lot of things that they go through over the 6-month period.
Y'all better do it right. Mama's not here to do it for you now.
It's not an easy academy. It's a tough academy, but we believe that they leave here better trained and better equipped than ever before.
From the second trainees arrive, it's a military-style entrance where they are put through the test of their lifetime.
Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir! Yes, sir!
As instructors shout orders, the goal is to discipline them and train recruits under high levels of stress to prepare them for anything they might see out on patrol. But day zero is nothing compared to the training that follows.
Hurry up, move, sir! Let's go!
Within their first week, trainees learn to control stash houses, de-escalate deadly situations, and keep themselves and immigrants safe.
Rather than just taking things that have happened in the field and maybe talking about them, we've applied them here at the academy simply because things have gone wrong or mistakes that we've made. So trainees see that, look, this can't happen out in the field.
Every day is a new scenario, regardless of the weather.
Whether it's hot, cold, rainy, we still have a job to perform.
Firearms is also part of the academy here, where trainees like these right behind me learn how to aim, shoot, and monitor their targets, what exactly is on the left, the right, and behind them, all while under high levels of stress and pressure, along with making split-second decisions correctly. Driving on tough terrain like they would on the border and knowing how to stop a high-speed chase is also crucial for recruits to master. And physical training, or PT, is where trainees are put to the ultimate physical test.
Keep it up, breathe.
Trainees must run 1.5 miles in under 13 minutes, complete an intense obstacle course in under 2.5 minutes, and sprint 220 yards in under 45 seconds. That's the length of 2 football fields, something I thought I could do. The obstacle course tests endurance and speed. There's one blockade, then another. And then there's the 8-foot wall. Something agents are expected to do in seconds. After nearly 100 tries, I was finally able to get over.
You got it. There it is.
I also ran the 1.5 miles. But was 1 second short of passing.
13:01.
However, I was able to run the 2 football fields just in time. Even though PT pushes trainees to their limit, it isn't just their physical abilities that are tested. Trainees attend Spanish class, which is now mandatory for everyone, even if you are a native speaker. In the past, agents were taught to memorize phrases. Now, with the new 117-day program, every trainee must fully understand Spanish to communicate fluently with immigrants.
Camine a su derecha.
Immigration law is also a big part of the academy, where agents learn how to process immigrants, testify in court, and undergo everyday legal scenarios.
Border Patrol arrests people daily, so knowing how to do those things and do it safely is very important because they're putting their lives on the line every day. It is important that they understand the procedures.
After 6 months of rigorous training,
Let's go. It's now time to slow down.
it's time for the final exam, which tests them on everything they've learned. If they pass, they graduate with 14 certifications and are officially pinned a Border Patrol agent.
They go through struggles here, regardless of who they are or what backgrounds they have, but I think it's rewarding to them that they've earned that badge and that title of a Border Patrol agent.
Now that these men and women are agents and ready to protect the border, they say when they put that uniform on, the human factor never turns off.
Sometimes we do things that may seem inappropriate to people watching on TV, but know that Border Patrol agents that leave here and are out in the field have compassion. They have families, they have loved ones too.
In Artesia, New Mexico, with complete Valley coverage.
Yes, sir.
Sydney Hernandez, CBS 4 Valley, tonight. Day or night.
Hey guys, you can have two more.
The flow
Four bodies.
does not stop.
Unbelievable. Seeing at least 300 people in 5 hours, plus another 300, plus another 400 every day. I mean, it's bad.
Officer Herman Quintanilla is not a Border Patrol agent. Quintanilla is a Sullivan City police officer and is part of Operation Stone Garden, a federally funded grant that allows local law enforcement to assist Border Patrol.
When it used to be only 20 IAs a day, or maybe 10 a day with a little, foot pursuit, or,
Right.
Now it's just like, oh, let me go. During the night, like I'm driving during the night on military, and then I see like family units walking by themselves.
The small border town of Sullivan City is only 3.2 square miles, but sees hundreds
¿Cuándo cruzaste la frontera?
and hundreds
6 juvies and 11 family.
of illegal crossings.
¿Ya se pueden parar?
This is a park in Sullivan City. You can see several residents are playing basketball in the back. And in this same park, you can see there are hundreds of undocumented immigrants that were just apprehended by Border Patrol. In this group, there are several pregnant women. ¿Cuántos meses tienes? 6 meses. In that group, a 6-year-old girl from El Salvador is traveling alone.
¿Tiene bolsa, sí o no?
Es que quería conocer a mi mamá y quería estar con ella.
Naniela tells me her aunt sent her alone so she can meet her mom in New Jersey, where she migrated to years earlier. The girl says her aunt told her to go up to the men in green, and they would help reunite her with her mother.
¿No tenías miedo? No.
The area the 6-year-old crossed through is known for drugs and human smuggling.
We often see a lot of narcotic movement and smuggling of persons, family units, you name it, on this it's a main point of entry for them to be smuggled and walk upon to the military road here on Sullivan City Road.
Officer Ray Cortez is also part of Operation Stone Garden. He teams up with Border Patrol and gets to work. Inside this stash house, a group of 5 were sleeping before being caught. Agents say this woman has been deported twice and is a known human smuggler. And while this stash house is much cleaner than most, not all are. This is the inside of an abandoned stash house in Sullivan City. You can see there's dozens of clothes on the floor, small toys for children, and this is just a general location, just one of many where undocumented immigrants hide out until they're waiting to be transported to another location. Which is exactly what this truck was doing.
And they picked up this individual that has no proper identification that we can identify. So at this point, we call United States Border Patrol so they can identify if he is here legally or illegally.
The teen driver is an American citizen whose parents work at the local sheriff's department, according to police.
He's saying his dad's a sergeant over at county and his mom's a captain.
The immigrant was taken by Border Patrol while the driver and passenger were arrested.
Allá nada más se cultiva el maíz y el frijol.
He's from Mexico and says this is his third time crossing illegally. Although the majority of those crossing are from Central America, not everyone is.
Hemos estado secuestrados aquí en México. Nos asaltaron en Nicaragua.
This couple is from Cuba and say they were held hostage in Mexico and assaulted in Nicaragua during their journey to the United States. The beating so bad, the woman says she had a miscarriage.
La gente se desaparece, los trancan y nomás nunca sus familiares saben de ellos.
They say they're fleeing Cuba because their government is corrupt and people go missing daily. But they are just two of thousands seeking asylum.
This is a large group of immigrants that were just apprehended. You can see there's small children traveling, and the whole group is still out here. Several of them did run away from Border Patrol agents to avoid apprehension, but they do believe that additional immigrants were traveling with this group and were scattered before getting caught.
But not all of them want to be caught. At the same time, this group of 200 turned themselves in. A helicopter spotted a group of runners in this cornfield.
No se muevan.
The group has just been crossed by smugglers on a raft. I asked them why they ran.
Hola, soy una reportera aquí de Estados Unidos. ¿Cómo están?
One in the group tells me he's been deported 6 times and ran so it wouldn't become a 7th. But agents and officers made sure he didn't slip away. Whether they run,
They're running, so we're gonna have to.
Or turn themselves in.
I got 11 here.
On the ground,
You got one down there?
or in the air. The camaraderie these officers and agents have is what keeps border communities in the Rio Grande Valley safe.
And we have a great relationship with the city or police department of Sullivan City. We work very well with them.
On the Texas-Mexico border, Sydney Hernandez, CBS 4 Valley, Tonight.